What I learned from being stranded in Denver. Hey everyone, this is going to be a different video than what I usually do, but do me a favor, before I get into this, if you've not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click the subscription down below, click the notification link. Okay, so I was really big into real estate investing back in the early 2000s, and then 2006 and 7 hit, and I had a property that had a really faulty loan on it that I never should have gotten. It was through Countrywide, which went under when the whole bank crash and mortgage crash happened in 2009. And I had 4 properties. I had properties I had bought for cash out of state that were less than half of the value of what they were worth now. And I mean, just all my finances took like a nosedive. It was horrible. Very big learning experience for me. I mean, diversifying portfolios, looking into multiple investments and not just one thing, because everything I had was real estate, everything I had. And even my own family didn't know how bad off I was. And I know some of them now watch my YouTube videos, and some of them will be watching this and hearing this for the first time. They don't even know this story. I had 1 credit card in my name, and I had such bad credit that when I got on the airplane and I landed in Denver, in the air, that credit card company canceled the card. So I get there and it's about 9 o'clock at night, and I get picked up. I think it was Enterprise or Avis, one of those, and they take me to the counter, and I had a lot of cash on me, but I go in and the card declined. And I called them and they said, yeah, we've canceled you. We don't like your credit. And I'm like, okay, but I'm current with all the payments. And they said, doesn't matter. We don't like where you're at. We're canceling you. We're done with you. And I'm like, wow. You know, what do you do there? So they gave me a ride back to the airport, and they left me out there on the bench. And the whole airport shut down. I mean, the lights were going off, the planes were done, everyone was going home. And it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm sitting out there on the bench out where everyone gets picked up. And I just said a prayer. I'm like, all right, Lord, I'm in your hands. I'm trusting in you. I don't know what I'm going to do from here, but I trust in you. And I've always trusted in God, always, my whole life, and he's always taken care of me, has always had his hand of protection upon me. So shortly after I said that prayer, I'm just sitting there thinking, am I going to sleep on the bench? What am I going to do? Or, I mean, there's no taxis and no nothing. So I'm sitting out there, and all of a sudden a white van comes up, and it's Marriott. And the guy said, are you staying with us? And I said, no. And he said, where are you staying? And I'm like, I don't know. And he goes, well, we have no, because I asked, he goes, we have no vacancies. And he goes, I know a hotel that's out of town. I can take you there and drop you off there. It's like a motel, it's like a Motel 6 or something like that. He goes, I could drop you off there. So the guy was really cool. I gave him a tip, I believe, but I got in the van and drove about half an hour, 45 minutes out of town, and stayed there and was able to get a taxi into where I was going on the next day, because again, I had the cash for it and everything like that. But it was really weird, because it was the first time in my life where I was negative equity. I think I literally was worth minus at least 500,000, if not more. I had some houses. I had one in particular that was in major trouble. I had met with a few financial experts, and all of them were telling me to file bankruptcy. And I wasn't that bad in debt in some of my finances. I remember calling Countrywide and trying to negotiate my loan with them, and they're like, no, we don't have to do this. So I'm like, well, my payment went from $1,200 to $1,900 to $2,900 to $3,900 with the flexible interest rate. So a couple key things that I've learned from this, and it was a painful lesson for me. I mean, God took care of me, and I learned a lot. Like, people ask me, well, if you could have ever avoided that situation, would you have avoided it? Well, it would have been nice to. I mean, if I had sold everything right before the 2008 crash, I would have had probably over $1 million. I mean, I was worth 1.5 million one day to negative 500,000 the next day. I mean, it was the most insane thing in my life. But number one was to diversify my portfolio. I knew I shouldn't have gotten that loan with Countrywide. What I was planning on doing was selling the property within 6 months, and everything just like overnight just crashed. I mean, I just wasn't ready for that. Warren Buffett always says, you'll always know who's naked when the tide goes out. And it's just like, it's like I was right there. I was exposed. Ways that God took care of me. Number one was that van. I mean, that was just so cool. It was probably around midnight when I got to the place I was going, totally taken care of there. Number two is I got to go to the convention I was going to. It was a great convention. It was really not a bad weekend at all. I had a flight back. I had a house. I had a roof over my head. Number three is I was teaching, which I left teaching very gladly. It was very miserable at the end, but I had a consistent job with consistent income with a roof over my head, and I always paid my rent and my bills were my primary focus. What was cool is I was engaged at this time, and when I filed bankruptcy, the secretary of my attorney looked at me and she said, have you told your fiance? And I said, no. And she goes, you need to tell her. And I go, I just don't know how to. And she's like, if she loves you, she'll totally understand. So I told my fiance, my wife now, so yeah, she did marry me, that I needed to tell her something. And she was scared. So we were walking on the beach one night and she said, all right, tell me what you need to tell me. And I told her, I just said, all right. I said, I'm bankrupt. I've filed the papers. I have to go face the judge, and I've never done this. I'm scared to death. And she looks at me and she goes, is that it? And I looked at her and I'm like, isn't that pretty bad? I have no money. I'm bankrupt and I'm really in financial trouble. And she's like, I thought you were going to say you had like a DUI or you did jail or something. And she's waiting for something like super bad here. Like she's just like, I can't believe you made such a big deal out of this. I'm like, well, it's very embarrassing to be in this situation, which it was. And I had a very old car at this point. Again, I was planning on buying a new one. I had my cars were old and I needed a new one pretty badly. And a buddy of mine had lost his job and he needed someone to take over the payments of his car. And he had like a car that was like, I think 2 years old at the oldest or something like that. It was a really nice Toyota truck. And I'm like, I didn't qualify to be able to refi, but he was able to co-sign for me. So he co-signed, and at the bank, we both had a teacher's credit union, and he was non-tenured, and everyone was losing their jobs and everything. He had lost his job, but I was able to take over his loan payment. And again, I just look at how God took care of me during that time. I had a consistent income. My fiance still married me, which I was very grateful for. Just at the whole airport thing and everything that happened there. And I mean, life is an adventure. So a lot of people say like, oh, well, I went through this tough time. I went through this. Well, in 2012, I did my first real estate flip. After the 2011 bankruptcy, I made $80,000. I've been able to get 2014. I discovered what surplus funds were. A few years after that, I stepped out of teaching. I formed a surplus list with my business partner, and we've done very well with it. I mean, life is so radically different. Life is an adventure. Learning from this, I have different investments, not only in crypto, but I also have it in regular savings and in different accounts. Like I haven't put all my eggs in one basket because I've learned the hard way from that. So life is a total adventure. And yeah, just the purpose of this video is just to let you know, like my life, my story from going from bankruptcy to a six-figure company to a homeowner again, to a family with kids, and just very blessed and very happy. And yeah, I hope this can be an inspiration to you if you're kind of in a bad spot, and hope this helps you out. Hey everyone, thank you. Let me know what you thought of this video. I feel a little vulnerable here, but hope you like this. Feel free to click the comment section down below. If you like this, give me a like. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and click the subscription link down below, click the notification link, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.